What's up, everybody? It's Kyle, also known as the Panda Man, with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. These shirts, pretty sick, by the way. This guy went way over and above John Leroy, so I'll be teaming up with him. But he made all these cool shirts. He sent me a Bigfoot shirt, the Panda Man Dual Strength. So, nonetheless, this light is pretty blinding, but I figured I'm going to start keeping it on as much as I can, just to help with mood and energy and things of that nature. Great weekend. We won our flag football game yesterday, and if you can see here, I won $200 in a pool, Super Bowl pool. Never really expect to win that stuff, but it's fun. My buddy had a party. Now today, what I'm going to be going over is some content creation stuff. I get a lot of people that'll ask me, and they're curious about this. And what's cool is members at the gym who have been with us for years, they love seeing the progression, right, over the years of what I've done online and whatnot. So I'll give you a quick backstory. Keep these brief as usual. Just 3 years ago, roughly, Devin and I remember we were talking. It was right before New Year's Eve, and a pharmaceutical company from a client I had hired me to do mind map coaching with their executive, part of their executive team. Anyhow, that was, talking about that. Remember, we were in the hot tub, and also just really saying, okay, this is the year. Let's take your personal brand to the next level. Something I've been studying since day one. When I started my business in 2007, 2008 is probably when I really started studying marketing, like hardcore. So anyway, the way things work, we had this conversation, and then this guy, owner Haas, who I'd known since he was in high school. And the owner's probably about 13 years younger than me. He used to come to the gym way back in the day with his best friend, so like over a decade ago. And he came a few times. Didn't know him too well, but I noticed on my videos, I'd be sitting there doing my mallet drill, and I was always good at putting out content and just being consistent, more so for becoming the local celebrity for the brick and mortar business, the gyms. I realized the power of that. Now keep in mind too, I'm very introverted. I don't like attention. As odd as that may seem. Do not like I don't like it. Devin will tell you that. So he's watching my videos, right? I'm like, this is weird. This young guy watching my videos, not really my target audience. And then he sends me a message and says, hey, do you have a TikTok channel? And I said, nope, I'm not interested. He said, well, I have this idea. I want to start a media company with social media, and you're like the perfect character. So, right, you put the idea out there, something I've been working on forever, since beginning of my career, and God conspired, put owner and his brother Okan in alignment with me, and now we're moving on this path together as they grow their company, and we're building the Panda Man brand. So that's just a little backstory. But again, I get a lot of people that'll ask me about content creation, building a personal brand. I give talks on this. I've given talks to financial groups. I've given talks to pharmaceutical groups, real estate groups, masterminds for gyms on how to do this. So I figured I'm going to start sharing content about how to create content. And if this is something you want to get into, there's a science and an art to it. And I think it would be cool for those of you that like to follow along, kind of see behind the scenes of what I'm working on and why I do certain things as far as building the personal brand. If you have a brick and mortar business, or if you don't, it doesn't really matter. To me, your personal brand is one of the greatest assets that you can have nowadays. Personal brand. It opens doors for you guys. It really does. I mean, in so many ways, relationships. It will allow your reputation to precede you when you're trying to form new relationships. Think about it. If somebody said, well, there's a couple things. Hey, do you have a business card? I would say, well, no, here's my book, the Panda Diet book, or, whatever other books I've got 4 books. Going to have 8 by the end of this year, by the way. So that ties into building the authority. So there's going to be a whole series I do on these guys because I can ramble on. But going back to, hey, do you have a business card? No. Check out my handle at Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. So think about that. So here's what we have to recognize. This can be a great asset for you. One of the things that really helped me was recognizing, I pulled the book out to show the kids last week. It was a book by Seth Godin, who's a fantastic author. I got to meet Seth in person. There's actually a really funny story about when we were in his apartment. I had to take a leak, and I went for like 2.5 minutes. I was holding it for so long. I remember my buddies were like cracking up. Like, dude, you're taking this leak, and we can hear you. Man, it was funny. We were rolling. But he wrote a book, We Are All Weird. And I don't even remember exactly what was in the book. I have the book upstairs. It's a guy in a dunce cap. And that's one of the only times the title of a book was all I really needed. I read the book, but that was like, okay, we're all weird. Stop hiding it. So that was a key thing, right, in building the personal brand. Now, building a personal brand, you can't be vanilla. If you're the same as everybody else, which you are not, you only fall into that trap because you're trying to fit in. The way the mind works, and we talk about mind mapping, social judgment is very, very threatening to the mind. Think about how they pulled COVID off, where they're forcing everybody to wear masks. Most people didn't want to do that. Well, I'd say half the people didn't want to do that, but they were scared that, these people are going to attack me, they're going to judge me, right? So social judgment. Don't worry about fitting in with everybody. So another thing, right, as you're doing it, embrace what you're weird about. I think the second point I'll go over is, what is your purpose? I have a lot of people who say, I don't know what my purpose is. Don't know how to find my purpose. Now, here's a couple things. What are you passionate about? What do you want to share with people? I'm passionate about fitness, strength training, fasting, mind mapping, cryptids, Bigfoots, conspiracies. So I share it all. Don't be confined to a box. So what are you passionate about? And then your purpose, guys, you have to get this through your head. Maybe you just make up your purpose. Maybe God's not going to come down and anoint and say, this is the purpose. This is why you're here. Instead of stressing out, I'm trying to figure out what my life's purpose is. Make up your life's purpose if you don't know what it is. You decide what it is. And it's probably going to somehow, you want to weave your passion into that. Right? You have passion about something. I don't care how far out in left field it seems or how different it is from what you're currently doing. Now, this is the thing, too. Think outside the box. Don't be confined, right? Like we just did a podcast last week with the financial advisor, and the guy's a boss. Great personality, great mind, great discipline. And I said, let's not really ask you about the financial planning. Let's talk about your story, right? And this is what people are going to connect with. How did you grow up? What was your origin story? Like, I study superhero stuff, right? And part of what I study stuff on how to build a brand. Because again, you can do it organically, but add some fuel to the fire and figure out, okay, how do people like Hugh Hefner, how do people that are celebrities, they do certain things a certain way, right? When I wear my colored glasses, I don't wear them as much anymore just because I don't. But that was just me. That wasn't trying to do something different just to do it. It was like, man, I feel good wearing these. And then other people did it, right? But it was me not holding back on some of the weirdness. Now, something you guys will, if you ever hang out with me or you're around a character, so when somebody says you're a character, that's actually a very good thing. Like, that's a high compliment in my book. That dude's a character. Other characters are magnetized to me. We could be anywhere, any state. We've been out of the country. And the most interesting people will find me. And Devin's always laughing, my brothers. Doesn't matter where we're at. But that's how, like, I recognize another character, right? I can see it right away. Right? And usually free spirits, personalities. And, like, there's people out there that are so smart. intelligent, but they're holding back on their character. People don't just care about knowledge, right? People don't just care about knowledge. How about staying inspired? So how do I stay inspired to keep doing what I'm doing? Now, there's many times when I'm going and I'm, again, being introverted, the phone drains me. You know, making sure I'm putting my stories up every day. It's fatiguing, right? And I'm not saying that to have a pity party, but for me, it's draining. So I got to manage that. And there's a lot of times when I'm trying to move forward with um, the mission, and nothing's happening, right, as far as a business perspective, or I feel like I'm not making an impact. And then, boom, something will happen. Like when Dana White posted my video a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, man, this is pretty cool. But how I stay inspired is growth. You got to constantly stay on the growth process. Growth is equated to happiness in my book. And the more I grow, building my mind and learning about myself, the more I can share with others. So I learn best by teaching. And I'm actually studying, I have it upstairs, a new system, an analog system of learning. No cards, bibliography cards, but organized. And I'm learning from this guy. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a challenge, but I love it. Because that's how I like analog anyway. I'm not really digital. I'm very averse to that. But you stay inspired through growth. Don't be vanilla. Whether you like Trump or not, go back to the 2016 election. I knew he was going to win, despite what the pundits were saying, because he was a celebrity. The power of celebrity will trump anything else when it comes to business. Further reason to build your personal brand, even on a local level, right? If you have Joe Blow and you in the same field, but you have somewhat of a social media presence, and you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of followers. You could have 1,000, right? But people that connect with you, that's very important. They're going to go with you, right? If they know you, that you're a real person, and they see your daily workouts, and they see that you're reading, and they see that, oh man, I like what this guy does with his meals, whatever it is. So there's a lot of power in this. But going back to Trump, he was a celebrity, and no matter what you think of Trump, he's not vanilla, right? If you're vanilla and you're trying to please everybody, that's the worst place to be. You can't please everybody. Be a lightning rod. And you do that by not holding back with your opinions. And you got to develop a thick skin when you start doing that, because people are going to attack you. I'm very fortunate in that I really, and I've told many of you before, for the most part, I truly don't care what other people think about me. I get attacked by trolls. It's okay, right? I don't take it personal. You got to keep that in mind. When I get down, that's usually where I go to reading something, doing something tough physically, right? Changing the mind. And right now, guys, last thing I'll tell you, right, and then we'll continue this, because like I said, I want to start putting out content about how to create content for those of you that are interested in this topic. I'm fatigued, right, with the baby, a lot of broken up sleep, and that'll wear you down. That'll beat you down, right? So then say, okay, how do I stay on track? And say, all right, let me get some good quality work done. Let me get a few things done. So like right after this, I'll go pick Emma up. Then I'll probably hit like a 10-minute workout outside. Probably hit some laterals or carries and sprints. Something tough. Boom. Get me fired up. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you today. That's just the start of a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit of the science behind building a brand. First, embrace your weirdness is the main thing. If you guys like it, please share it. If you have questions, please reach out. If you need help, interested in my coaching or whatever, shoot me a message. I'll get back to you. Appreciate all you guys. Time to go pick up baby Emma Taylor.